So we just started the recording, and there's no way, I don't use a teleprompter or anything for those people in the future that hear this, but the most valuable stuff that I'll ever share with anyone the rest of my life was in the beginning of this conference call. I forgot to turn record on, and there's a good chance that you're going to miss that because my memory sometimes goes away, and I apologize for that. Hopefully I can remember what those valuable points were. But picking back up with our crew here at our, I guess, really successful conference call that we'll call it. I call it just Fireside Chat down by the river because really, at the end of the day, we will have this platform that everyone will become familiar with. Really, that's going to be your daily diary, more or less, or whatever you find of value that you would like to share with this, what we'll call a community, association, a movement, whatever it is, just a bunch of people that are of like mind. And it's very important that everyone understands that I have no problems, and I've had problems in the past by using a particular word, but in this particular case, I'll stand up in front of the bench and say, yes, I did say the word guarantee. Again. But this time I definitely mean it. In that, if y'all, by the way, if y'all have anything, we're live, it's just a small group here, you can interrupt me if you wish, and then we'll do that. But if you want, you can just hold on there until I take a breath, and we'll discuss some things so that you can give me input, because again, what I'm doing now mainly is for those people who are already on the site and are signed up. By the way, there's about 55 people that have signed up, and most of them come from the Leak Project, Rex Bear, who will play a very integral part in this matrix. And to let you know up front, with full disclosure, is in a roundabout way, in which some would call it in a setting up a magical spell. In fact, that's what we all do every day. That word magic has really been, so we do these things. I mean, we create scenarios, and those scenarios really are in advance, premeditated, and you execute these things, and you created them in the ambient, in the foreseen, in your mind, and then you feed these things energy until which time you either have the balls enough to follow through with your little spell, or you don't. And the universe will respond to exactly what you feed it, and you feed the universe attention and passion. And if you have passion and you focus, and you continuously move toward your objective, there's only one word in the Queen's English that can stop it from happening, no matter how grandiose some people may say that it is. And I pose this question, and there's value added if you can answer it correctly. And that's another thing we'll do on these calls, is we will show our appreciation to each other by giving them a token of our appreciation called a penny. It's spelled P-E-N-E-E, not to be confused with the globalist bankers' little piece of metal called a penny. So, if someone says something of value, like if one of these folks here listening tonight was to answer the question that I just posed correctly, I would gain value from that, as well as they would for giving me the right answer, because I would have known that we're on the same page and that was the answer that I'm seeking. So that's how this works. And in the future, you become part of our little association, movement, membership, whatever you want to call it, community, clan. You too could pose a question or make a comment, and if we have 1 million people that are part of our little whateverness here, 1 penny that I'm fixing to give away or what have you wouldn't really make a hill of beans if you're trying to change the world or trying to get someone's attention or help someone else out there that's a little bit over overgunned when Soros comes in and does his move with his cheese and gets the kids to go throw chairs through windows, because really what's happening is there's a wet T-shirt contest happening after the rally, and they're going to have a keg. Well, what we do is we move in with 2 kegs, 2 wet T-shirt contests, but you got to listen to the Constitution read to you. They'll be over at our party. Trust me. It's human nature. So once you understand that we're playing, I say playing, we are becoming proficient at what I'm going to attempt to do is turn people into what's called a manifestic. And I coined that word. It's not in the dictionary. A manifestic is a being that creates their own reality from sheer thought. Sheer thought. By the way, you're doing it right now. It's only logical. If you stop, and some of the things I'm going to tell you in the quietness of your own home, in your silence, you think about this. It's the only logical thing I could come up with. And it is this. A little example, if you don't think that you create your own reality, is that you, let's just say you want to get up and welcome to the call, 936.
Yes. Texas native here.
Yes, good. There's just a limited number of us here, and so I have you on open mic. If you need to blow your nose or anything like that, you might silence yourself out. I don't know how to do that on your end. This platform is new to me, but we'll figure it out. And by the way, if you blow your nose in public, we're going to call a Black Hawk helicopter. We're going to put a bag over you, and we're going to run you off somewhere until you quit coughing.
All right, I'll mute it right now, but I've been there before.
All right, sounds good. I went up to Brookshire's, a little local grocery store here, good-sized chain. Y'all probably know it, you Texas people. I started, just for giggles, I started coughing like I was a 50-year smoker. And boy, I tell you what, everybody, I got the best vegetables and everything in there. Everybody scattered, boy. They got away from me. So that's what's called magic. Just interested in finding out, 936, where are you actually? Where do you hang your hat at? What city?
Right now, I'm hanging my hat in Huntsville.
Huntsville. Yes. Integral part of the story, not for me, but I'm sure you'll hear about Huntsville along the way here. And Laurie, where was I at?
Yeah. Well, you were talking about how you coughed and everybody scattered.
Okay, thank you. Another thing is that probably the first 100, maybe even 1,000. I might could do 1,000. I'm personally, most likely 100, I'm personally going to train those people. And this is no game to me. This is not a game. It's going to look like one. We're going to have a tremendous amount of fun. You can't imagine the power in fun. Even your body changes its chemistry when you're at peace and having fun. So we will, without anyone knowing it, I'm going to monetize having fun. They'll never know it. Why? Because it's magic. I'm going to create these things. I'm going to show you how we're doing it. Let's get back to that door, Laurie. That's where I was at. I was going toward the door. I'm going to show y'all that we create from the ambient. I call it the river. You'll hear me refer to the river quite a bit. And some people call it the Holy Spirit. Eric Pippin calls it the in-between, the Higgsfield, whateverness. The ultimate firmament. And if you're not real familiar with the word firmament, it's a word that's slung around in all these books that they wrote. The first person that figured out what's really going on past the one that created us all. And that is, the firmament is a place that doesn't exist but actually contains everything that ever was and ever will be. It is the place where you go and you dream or you envision or you're creating a scenario or a conjure or, some people use the word con. I don't like that word. Cons are in the pen and they use this magic darkly and for their own self-gain. how do I know these things? I was in the oil business. And that's getting close to be the most unethical thing this side of used car salesman that there is on this planet. They would literally cut your throat, maybe not cut your throat, but they would take everything that you got from you, and you've known them all your life. It's just the way it is down here. So if you're stupid enough to ease into they don't know it, into their magic, then you lose. And I'm sitting right now, I think y'all might have heard this on Rex's show, but I'm sitting right now about 3 miles, less than that, 2 miles from the world's richest acres. It's pumped more oil in that little acre over there than anywhere else on this blue planet. So it's an interesting place. But back to the door and what have you, is that if you want to get up and go, I'm back to the creating from sheer thought thing, go out that door that I'm looking at right there. You know, leaving and going out the door is an auto response. You programmed this a million times, but every time that you go to get up, go to the door, you go to wherever it is, you go to pick up a pen, whatever, you're going to have to set off that lock scalar wavelength of activities or your memory, and you will move your leg. You're going out the door, but you had to have thought about it. The point when you said, I'm leaving, and you made a commitment to head out that door, in that particular example, everything went into autopilot. However, what's happening in today's society, and I'm going to share something with you right now, is that where attention goes, energy flows, and that's the seed of manifestation. You've heard many times probably about the famous double slit test. That's where they fire a proton through a little slit and it turns into a wave and what have you. And that's going into changing what was called a particle into a wave. And down the road in a little session we're going to discuss scalar theory. But you have to leave your quantum toys at the door, because it is my contention and many others that what we think about we create, and what we do in thought has matter. The word matter we'll discuss a lot too, because when people say, it doesn't matter to me, that's a misnomer. They're speaking incorrectly in the Queen's English. Something matter, what you call matter, this pen is made up of what you call matter, what's referred to as matter. And they go on to say in quantum is that, and in basic Newtonian as well as Einstein's theories, is that particles, the particles, all that stuff. Well, in scalar, what it is when you have intent, or you focus and you think about something. Going back to the observation of a subatomic particle, is that the only way to observe a subatomic particle is through the act of observation. That caught my ear and many others as well. That means that unless you're thinking about it, it didn't get up here. You're already pre-programmed to be looking for an atom, and so an atom appears. You're thinking about it. It came from your thoughts. The longer in this test that you continue to think about seeing an atom, more atoms aggregate in that spot. My theory, and many others, is that your thought creates, you want to make a pen, certain elements of that pen, it's auto coming from the firmament, is that when you think about this pen, you have this pen envisioned, you've drawn it 1,000 times, and it's in your mind, and then when you think about it, you send what's called a locked scalar wavelength. That wavelength is programmed to look just like this pen right here, just like this pen. And so when you continuously think about this pen, what's going to happen in reality, in my reality and many others, is that your thoughts, remember the observation of subatomic particles can only be observed through the act of observation. The continuously that you, what did I say, where attention goes, energy flows, that's the seed of manifestation. The more that you think about this pen with passion and action, moving in the third dimension toward getting a hammer, the plastic melts, all that stuff, that's all built in. So once you continue to think about it, you're sending more scalar locked wavelengths into that aggregate area until they're so congregated that it appears to be a particle.
Randy?
Yes.
Can I break in real quick?
Please do.
Okay. So, I mean, in a practical way, I can't hear myself talk. Okay. In a practical way, warm bodies accomplish nothing. It requires attention and focused attention. And the more focused the attention, per the observation of the observer effect, the more focused the attention, the more materialistic or the more materialized your attention manifests through
it to become into the true form. What you just described is the process, or the part of the process that we go through here in this very basic, on the experience side. But when you're thinking about, that's what you're saying, the more you think about it in a positive way, all that right there is setting off into motion that what you're going to manifest in the future. Mm-hmm. Now, what we're experiencing right here in the present is living proof that what I'm saying is true. How can you say that, Randy? Because I had to be thinking just by the way, a Planck's length, that's the shortest distance of anything we can come up with, real small little distance. A Planck distance ago, I was thinking about this. And I had to think about it to cause it to actually be manifest. Now, we will discuss these things at length, but you see where we're going. Let me get back on the basics here so we can get this thing kicked off and we can actually manifest some things. So, what we want to do is this. We want to create a group of people that are passionate about this country. Everybody's going to get to sit and listen to Ramblin' Randy go off on all this stuff and any other, here we go, Laurie, any other topic that we may broach. Now, and this will, what y'all are going to be helping me do is mold this thing. Now, part of the reason that I can keep my little self out of an orange jumpsuit or dead, well, most likely that would probably come, easily. But the jumpsuit deal, to be taken out and saying it wasn't real, and all that kind of stuff. We have to follow certain rules.
Okay.
Because I've kept this inside of Caesar's law, and that's what Caesar's boys, remember Kilgore? I love the boys that would steal everything I got, and I would go have coffee with them the next day. That's the way things are done. That's the way things are done topside. And I'm not talking about in D.C. Okay, I'm talking about the real players. They have rules. They have to proclaim in public what they're fixing to do. We are still under maritime. I'm not going to get into the law part of it right now. We will have people. That's another thing. I don't want to do this too much. I'll have my own little show I'll do. If anyone wants to come listen to me, they can, if I give them any value, they can. That's the only place I'll gain value from this, if you can believe that or not, because I'm not taking anything else. And that's by design. They will look at this, even though the power of this is shocking. I have a prospectus that I built, that I put together for venture capital people when I didn't have this frame of mind of giving it away to what really could help is the people to get this cheese that I'm fixing to tell you about, that Facebook and Instagram and all, or whatever they all get off their advertising stuff, and we don't get anything for the content, just pennies over there on YouTube, and they're demonetizing Patriot sites. We're fixing to change that story. Big time. But I need your help. So, with inside of Caesar's law, I can build this thing. And I can use which I did, my funds and some angels, but I have to give it away. If I want to have all of the components of this maximized to help the people. So, this is a gift. It could have been sent to, just to let you know, and I can show you, I mean, anybody that look at this, numbers-wise, it's full-blown prospectus, it's logical, and these numbers would, in fact, most likely happen. And at 1% of its very low-ball comparison, peer comparisons, like Medium, YouTube's revenue, and Twitter, and those people, 1 point would be worth to an individual about $15.4 million a year. 1 point, just coming out of the chute. So, Medium, they have a platform. You can go look at it, and what they do is they post content. Anybody can post content over there. The members throw in $5 a month, and then whoever reads it gives an acknowledgement, good, bad, or indifferent, and the better the acknowledgement, they run. Here's what they do: they run it through a logarithm of some sort, and they divide up that $5. He pays out 70% of the $5 thrown in there. He's got 7 million people now. Okay, a month they pay that. I think they're a little higher than 5 now, but let's just use 5. That's 35 million a month. Okay, and he's keeping 30% of that, which that's business, and that's the way it is. I'm giving it all away. Plus, we're going to have an adjustable monthly thing, or whatever you want to do. What they do is they are on the if-come of whether or not their content will be worth a hoot, and that's what they do. And Hacker Moon over there probably does $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month, just off writing ads, and he sponsors some little barefoot riders to write, and he gets the claps. He gets the claps. That's funny. He gets probably don't remember what that is nowadays, but I hate to say I do, but the fact is whoever the acknowledgement in the form of little clapping hands, that's why I use that term, is that they run through a logarithm, and that who knows how they got that thing rigged. Who knows? And so the ambient sent to me this deal where it goes peer-to-peer. There isn't nobody. You like something, you pick up your little phone there, whatever you're on, and you send a penny, nickel, dime, quarter equivalent, which we call them pence. 100 pennies, P-E-N-E-Es, is 1 pen. So $1.50 in the U.S. terms, it'd be 1 pen, 50 pennies. They'll like that too, especially the way it's spelled. But I'm inside the scope. I'm inside the scope of the law. So, people would be able to do that. Medium is internal. It doesn't, if you're posting on, you say something on the rabbit hole, you say something on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it ain't going to help you over there on Medium. So the River said, here's what you do. Float over all of them. Float over all of them. Just have your members tell us where they post. Be sure and also post on the rabbit hole. Keep your daily diary, and you can repost over on the other location and get double revenue. I'm not into this revenue, people. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And so, does everybody understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get the drift of it.
Yeah, I understand where you're going, but I think what people want to know is what can they do when they land on your site, and it'd be nice to have a video, maybe the one where you were with Rex, posted off on the left sidebar, so they could, once they land, they have something to watch and see, what's going on here, because some of them may be friends from people who originally saw the Leak project,
Yeah.
And, so they may land here saying, "Oh, well, so and so said it was a good thing." Well, here I am. Well, they sit there with their finger in their ear. Now what do I do? What am I supposed to do? What do I do with this thing? And then they leave.
I'm with you. It's been 7 years in the making on this deal. And my programmer, this is an interesting story, and I'll make it as brief as I can, but my programmer of 12 years that's created some of the most magnificent structures for us, projects, very complicated stuff, went through a period of time where his family world, health-wise, was in chaos, and it was a mess for 6-7 months, and so nothing was moving forward. Finally, we've got it up into a position where I said, just get me a landing page up there where people can register and I can start talking to them. Which number 5 on my bullet points to bring out here today, which is a rare thing for me to have notes, is I'm building a new website, Lori. And it's going to be more visually aesthetic, to the point, telling what we do, and there will be video explaining to the T of, or it will be as to the T as I can generally be. Now, there will come a time, with y'all's help, that we will be in large numbers. There will be talent then that will take the helm as far as all the stuff that we can do with this. Each thing is going to be created by the group. That's part of the rules that the river gave me. I have to give it away, and up until this point when I release as I have, anything that, and this is so that it falls into Caesar's rules, because the involvement that I will have will be to sustain, and y'all recognizing the value of what I'm offering will be in the form of a donation for the future build-out of Module 2 and beyond. Okay, so that will be, and then the uniqueness about this that Caesar is going to flip is that when you donate from the goodness of your own heart, expecting nothing in return, there's a gifting statement that goes out with that. Even with a penny, it's going to go out to cover us. And I'll tell you why in a minute. If I don't, someone remind me to go back to I'm sure I will, the penny analogy and how it's very important. So, what was I just covering?
The new website.
Okay. The new website will have, before I forget, the new website will be eye-appealing. It will be more so than just that thing we've got there now. But where I was at was with the programmer. We finally got this up. I've been dealing with Rex for over a year, and I said, let's just run this thing up the flagpole and get it going, because we need to have some help Yellowhead a lot in this year. We've got an election coming up. We got things going on out there. If they shut us down, we need to have 10 or 20,000 people that if they get locked down for a while, they're going to have somebody to talk to. If they actually come down full bore, then they'll have someone with an ear, and we'll probably have more. You follow? You see where I'm coming from? This is prophetically being brought out at a time that it's needed. Anybody can come over. Those calls will be open. They'll hear us talking about tipping and receiving and things like that on those. This call's like this, and that will spark their interest. If they don't have an interest, then they don't have an interest, and some will somewhat. So what? Someone else is waiting. We don't have time. We do not have time. Now, back to the donation deal. The uniqueness is that someone's going to donate, as y'all will in the future, should you choose to become what's called a committed supporter. And the reason we have that is I don't get any of it, by the way. That needs to be known right up front. This whole thing is designed for the workers, the people creating the value. Everything is a fair exchange of value. I need the minds. I need to get to 1 million minds so that we can teach enough people the basics of navigating, being a manifestic, creating from your own thoughts, and knowing that they're doing that right now. If you don't believe me, turn on TV. They got every one of us think we're going to die tonight if we don't have an M95 mask. I'm not kidding you. But there's one thing for certain, is that young people nowadays still have an innate drive inside of them. My son sat here all day long moping because his girlfriend in Dallas, his mother said that he could, and she's a grown girl now, said can't visit with my son because the virus still going on, and he's been moping. And he come in here a while ago, and she evidently couldn't handle it either, and they're going to be listening to this. And said, you can come. Mother said, you can come if you bring some spray disinfectant. Like, I kill them germs. I said, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. But the safest time you can go out is right now. There ain't nobody on the road. If you slap, I don't drink, but those people that drink a lot, they got the whole highway, Okay, we're back to somewhere, and see how mixing fun with something as serious as this, and whether you realize it or not, you're talking about something, once you grasp this, that can put you anywhere that you want to go. Mm-hmm. Anywhere. You write the ticket. If you're passionate about this country right here, and these people come in as committed supporters, I need their minds more than the money. So they come in, they donate to the project and the module 2. I'm going to turn around and give it to them too. But I'm going to instruct them, since you're the collaborator, you're the gatekeeper to the river for them. You are the first connection. You're the most important thing to them. I'm going to suggest to them, can't say that they have to, I'm going to suggest that half of their commitment goes to the river, and that's to the person who's going to be their constant guide, and that's you. That's the person that went out and spent the energy time that I can't do to help me get another mind. Mm-hmm. So that's worth it to the movement. That's worth it to the movement. And we need it. Plus, you need it too. Most people need it. Most people need this. And so this is going to be the way that we can help save this country, and we can get these people that are sitting down literally by the river on a 5-gallon bucket fishing because they have to. And if they got some value and they're down there, they can post that big old fish on the rabbit hole, and believe you me, there'll be people that will show them appreciation for what that picture that they just saw, the joy that they got from seeing it, or whatever. Everything has value. Mm-hmm. How much is, if you're having a bad day, I say this all the time, and I mean it, is that if you're having a bad day, terribly bad day, and you see a picture of something somewhere, and it just causes you pause, and it seems to just melt away. Wouldn't you pay a penny for that?
Sure, yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. Which brings me to the penny deal, and why do I need a million minds? You can lay on the floor right there, and I can drop a penny on you, and it won't even affect you at all. Call an ambulance, won't even affect you at all. But if, in fact, I drop 1 million pennies on you at the same time, you're going to meet Gabriel before you realize what happened. It's going to be quite an event. So there's power in the penny. That's another good domain. Oh, I've got it. Which brings up another thing. People can come up with domains. I'm a meme-making maniac, and we can stick them out anywhere. And you can say it goes to the Friends of Paul Revere. And then when you get to Paul Revere, click here if you really want to help, and takes them to the sign up at the rabbit hole. And then they're going to hear us, or hear me, or whatever, whoever. So, when someone, one of the nice things that we'll have too, there will be people that come in just for the information. We have to have this where people are seriously trying to vet, in the, we'll call it the adult class, the adult section of this deal, because there'll be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of blue-haired folks that get together and, the knit one, pearl two, and they're chatting like they do on Facebook, but instead of doing likes, they're throwing pennies, and they'll do it all day long. We're doing it now over there. Mm-hmm. And by the way, what I'm going to do for those guests, those first, I'll even do it first 100. I think we've got about 55. I'm just going to give you $5 worth of pennies. Okay? Wow. So you can sling them around. We want some activity in there. And if you're ever in chat rooms or what have you, make a of it. You're going to have your own link. You've got your own link down there. And so in the back of your office, I guess you do. I don't know if you have it as a guest, but maybe you do. I'll check and see. we need to go over that site right there, which will morph. It will morph into something different. But see, that's just the gateway to what's called the back office. You know, the actual mechanics of what's going on. That's just a portal. And so I'll have a prettier site, and we can have 10 or 12 sites. We can have a bunch of sites out there, landing pages, just say all sorts of things. And then, but they all lead to Rome, believe it or not. And so they'll all lead to the point of them becoming involved with us. They get in our CMS, and we you know, can communicate with them via email. Now, if y'all want to help, then I've friended everybody to everybody, if you notice that.
I like that, yes.
Okay, that's so that people will have things on their home page right now. They have little envelopes over on the right. Y'all probably seen them. And on your friends deal, and that's where you can send an email. If y'all would help me and save me time, if y'all could click on those things and then invite them to one of these calls, tell them who you are, and then if they become a committed, you'll get that, what I just described to you earlier. You'll get that, because that's value to me. If you follow what I'm saying, there's a bunch of people in there that are probably just like yourselves, that come in as guests. And so everybody that wants to have the house on the hill, I'll teach them how to do it, but you're going to have skin in the game. Okay? And here's why. There is nothing of value that's free in this world. Nothing. And I said this on Rick's show, and some people go, what are you talking about? Love's free. I love my wife. Lord loves me. You know, I said, well, those statements you make may be true, but no, it wasn't free. What do you mean it wasn't free? You had to pay for it with your most valuable asset that you have. Oh, really? It didn't cost me? Yes, it did. I said, you paid with your attention. You paid attention.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. So you pay with your attention, and so by listening to me, you're paying me right now with your attention. That's the most valuable asset that you have. Where attention goes, energy flows. That's the seed of manifestation. And if you'll just listen to me, I'm trying to show you how you can do for us and help us when we reach critical mass of people who understand the dynamic, and we have, I just shifted, and have complete focused intent. We go anywhere.
I can really see this going big.
Well, I'm telling you, if you just, and here's something else. If someone's in this just to go out and help me get minds, which each one of those minds, if it was to have a standardized 30, commitment a month, that they say that they'll give away to somebody, not me, that's out to help the cause. Like donate to Rex, regularly, donate to his guest, his host, one of the other people inside of here. It has to be another member. If they'll just come and listen to me and tell other people to listen to me and never post a single thing, just look. It's a two-tiered thing. So if they went out and they were really passionate, they told a bunch of people about what's going on, and they got 200 people. That's nothing. You're not selling anything. Just go listen, and not let me do the rest. After they start listening, just let me do the rest. I'll be just fine. You will be too. And if you ended up with, say, 200, if you can do the math, 200 times what, 15? Half 30? Or just say 200 times 10. That's 2,000? Yeah. Yeah, I think it is, yeah. And I'll just say this. You're the conduit. You're the teacher. You're going to be doing what I'm doing. I'll fade away, at some point. You're going to be cloned. We're going to do this. It's going to, just like a constitution, it's going to have a process. You will be responsible to the person that you are tutoring, as well as helping them tutor the others, and you'll get a gratuity on that as well. That takes the load off me. So out of the 30, you're going to, you'd get say 10 of that, and anyone that they were to be tutoring that you help tutor, you'll get 5. So if they did the same as you did, here we go off into this numbers crap, which I hate to do. This makes me sick.
Right.
But it does make me sick. It does make me sick.
It sounds very simple, and I think that's why also I can see it as being successful.
Well, here's one thing, is that I come from that world. I was involved in one of the largest networking things around. And we got 1.8 million members in 18 months, and each one of them paid $100. And so you can see it was huge. So I understand that dynamic, but you're never going to win. You're never going to win. Except I found the key. It's got to be work. You have to work. If you squeeze the shutter on a camera and that picture happens to be dynamic, you get it to the rabbit hole, that's work. And you receive these gifts. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it at this, and I won't go any deeper into this, but we will probably keep it kind of sub rosa. What does sub rosa mean? That's below the rose. The Knights Templar was a sub rosa society. We're a sub rosa research society, below the rose. Throughout history, it's been known as a secrecy below the rose. And if you'll notice some of my...
I thought you were saying... I thought it sounded like delicious. Sub rosa in Spanish.
It does sound good. I love it. It's Julio Iglesias should be in there somewhere. But it's called Sub Rosa. You can look it up. It's secret research and study, secret societies, things like that, Sub Rosa. If you'll notice on some of the logos I've got, this one here's the cowboy hat, but usually you'll see a yellow rose. And the name of my little company I had was Yellow Rose of Texas Oil. And so I used that rose. Instead of using the red Knight Templars rose, we used the yellow rose. So I'm all about this stuff. This is, again, in conclusion of this call, this isn't a game to me. But if I can teach people to play a game, we win. Now, back to the last thing I'll say is that you've probably heard of grandmothers sending $1 or $2 to a kid for Christmas. I'm sure you've heard of that, haven't you?
Nope.
Well, sometimes grandparents send gifts to children for Christmas. Sometimes they send money, or you give money to someone for their birthday, whatever. It's a gift, cash gift. And let's say it's a Christmas deal, and a grandfather gives the grandchild $1. Does the child, ask these CPAs, does the child have to pay tax on that income? Obviously not, Randy. You're being silly. What if it has a large family? Well, if you got 20 people in the family, they all give the kid $1. That's $20. Does that kid have to turn that in as income? No. It's only the giver that's subjected to any implications as far as taxes go. The receiver, it's all tax-free. It's not income. It's gift. What if they got 1 million people in the family and they just stopped? Law applies. We'll let that lay. Oh, so sweet for those on Social Security, eh? That's subliminal. 231 joined us. If 231 is on a computer, 231, we can hear you. We're live. What is your name?
My name's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
How are you?
Good, Mark. You're a man of my own, after my own way of thinking. I usually got to class at about 5 minutes before it's over as well, Mark.
Well, I saw on a text that I got when I joined that I thought I was calling in at the right time. Somehow I got...
Listen.
It said
Hey, let me tell you, I'm just glad y'all are here because y'all are giving me a great gift in that what we do on this side of the mic, I haven't done this for probably 12, 15 years, but I used to have huge shows and all this stuff. And it's on Blog Talk Radio. I don't even know if y'all have even heard of that. But it was the going thing, man. It was so fun, and I had a huge audience, and I enjoyed it a lot. And people would say, I used to drink a lot, I'll tell you all that, and that was back in those days, and people would say, man, I would just come listen to some of that stuff that you say down there in East Texas, because it starts happening that way. And listen to me. I'm going to tell you again, all you've got to do, if you're after some fast cheese and help me save this country, go tell anyone that you know just to come listen to me, and be sure to tell them that you sent them, and you're going to do real well. And we're going to monetize, we're going to weaponize having fun and getting back a little bit of that cheese that's been filtered off by the crooked Federal Reserve Bank with their fractional reserve banking system. I wrote a book in 2007. The name of it is Reverse Fractional Banking, A Fair Exchange of Value. Yep. And then y'all will be able to see that. I also wrote a book on or about the same time called The Two Sides of Silence. One side of the cover of the book, it's got the dove, you know, that white dove thing flying off, and the other half is in back, real deep, you know, evil looking, is the four horsemen coming through there, four headless horsemen. That's on the front of my book. It says The Two Sides of Silence, and let me tell you why it's titled that way. In the silence of my time is where I find my power. Truly. Meditation, believe it or not, don't do it with cowboy boots on, don't wear many of them anymore, but I find my quiet spot. There's where the power's at, in the silence of our minds. However, if someone knows I could not have gone to my grave without doing this project, because when someone knows that they have a means by which they could correct a wrong or stand up and give something to somebody that would help change this world, and sit silently by and do nothing, to me that is treason by proxy.
Right.
Ugh. And so I am compelled to do this. And back to just listening to me. Let's call this school Manifestic School, and tuition is $30 a month. The difference being we'll give it all back to you and teach you how to give it away correctly. And if you'll do that and tell other people to do the same, you'll get that house on the hill. That I can guarantee, if you do the work. It's numbers, people. It's just numbers. Do you love this country enough to tell as many as you can? Be Paul Revere. Be a friend of PaulReveres.com. I've got that domain. You can have it, promote it if you wish. I need your help. I need you to get on your horse, get your lantern, and get out there and tell people to listen to this show. If you do so, and they harmonize with me, I don't want any of their money. They can pay a tuition to this little school. We'll all be teachers and we'll all be students at the same time. It's the same thing I told that man on that picture up there, Ashmael Rothschild, which I stare at every day. I tell him every day, you know what? You taught the school, but move over, Rover. The student has just become the teacher. We know where you're coming from. And I'll tell you all this right now is that just on this short call, you've learned some truths. And once a person who has been honestly mistaken all of their life learns the truth, they either cease to be mistaken, start speaking the real truth, or they cease to be honest. What say you? Because they'll never be able to walk away again. They will never be able to say that they didn't have a shot for the house on the hill. Just help me save this country. Yellowhead needs us. And if you can't tell, go over there and listen to any of X22's shows. Or listen to some of Rex's shows when he's got when he's got Jet on, or one of the people that really does, government stuff. He's got them on there. Rex has got a whole brush of people you know, broad brush. But when you get over there and you listen to X22, he's doing it right now. I guarantee you. And it's blow by blow. And what we'll do, when Lori asked me what will be the flow of the topics, y'all on the chat room, or I'm going to start having these calls all the time, because I get up in the morning, I'd love someone to talk to you about this. Believe me, I would. And if someone would be on this line, or we get someone to start covering this line, we just start telling people to go listen to that line. I don't care. Just listen. If you can just get them to come over and listen and say, hey, we're having a call. You know, Moron's going to be on there talking tonight or rambling. And just get them over here. And as many up there inside the Beltway would say, he's one of the best neuro-linguistic skills out there. Got that number. So I know I'm like a book. And if you really want to get deep into this, go do some research on a man called Eustace Mullins. Eustace Mullins was an attorney I studied great length. Every day he was at the courthouse filing lawsuits against the Federal Reserve Bank. And they all knew he was correct. He inspired my good friend now, who I've got pictures I went up to see, G. Edward Griffin, the author of The Creature from Jekyll Island. Wow. Shook his hand, we sat down, we talked about this. Up in Colorado at an expo this past year called the Red Pill Expo. He's behind me 100%. I said, Mr. Griffin, I said, you got one more book in you? And he said, well, yeah. And I said, when I get this thing planed out, I'd like for you to meet us on Galveston Island. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write a book called The Creation from Galveston Island. It's going to be about this movement. If enough people get behind us, we can continue to help do some exposure, and I'll call it takedown, of an evil system known as the World Bank, the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, and most of all, the centralized banking SWIFT system. Yellowhead's headed that way. If we can get enough people over here, we'll have them listening to the Constitution read to them. That'll be an elective. They'll get a little star or something. Notice there's a person who's read it. You know, that gives them bonification to speak. And then we'll vet each other. We don't want anybody in here that thinks that you should wake up and point to the east when you pray. I mean, I don't. And if they do, keep it at your house, please, for God's sake, not out there on Main Street trying to make some sort of damn deal. Glad I didn't come through there in a 4x4. But just didn't see them. And my truck's jacked up too high. I felt it bumping and everything, but I didn't know what's going on. See, stuff like that. We're on a private platform here now. I'm recording on a private platform. They can't take this video away. We can put it over on YouTube. YouTube can take it down, but we still got it. I have a platform where we can host on, and we can put stuff over on all the other sites from our hosting site, and they can pull it on theirs, but it won't go away.
I have a question, Randy.
Yeah.
Do you have the Constitution already recorded?
Yeah.
Through narration, you do?
Well, Heritage Foundation did that for me.
Where can we find that?
Google it. I mean, you can go to YouTube and go reciting of the Constitution, and you know, it's beautifully. It sounds like George Washington talking. But we'll have that over on a page on the rabbit hole. Now let's. I think that I've kind of given y'all enough content on where we're headed, and maybe you think that I'm passionate about it and know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, it's very simple. Go out and get me some people, and they can come in as a guest. They can come in just as a content creator, or that's what I need, committed people. The reason I need committed people, I need to sit here at headquarters, let's call it, and see what we've got totally at our disposal at all times. Because there could be someone that says, hey, they're over there trying to have a transvestite teach in the elementary school and wherever it is, or whatever, something wild like that. And if one of y'all transvestite, sorry, but something that we hear, or they're taking the guns away from someone down in wherever, and or they're trying to take our water rights, like Bundy. I met the Bundys on the ranch thing that happened out there with the feds. And they need help. They need help right away. If we had $5,000 to get some flyers and get to get our attorney up there, we could go one time with a blast saying, this is a bona fide value here that these people need help. They're trying to push for this. Within 1 second, they'd be funded. Within 1 second. So also, real quickly, is like Sean and a few people, they're demonetized over there. A lot of YouTubers are demonetized. Get a hold of them for us and tell them what we're doing. Tell them I'll come on their show and explain that they become silent supporters. Every single video that you do, your people could hit you with a penny, nickel, dime, or quarter. They do the math on those numbers. Kind of makes your eyes open up and go, dadgum. I say, and that's a fraction of what they're making off your content. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. This is amazing. There's a big church down in Houston. Joel Osteen runs it. We knew his daddy, John Osteen, but it's a huge church, and they could all be silent supporters, and that's what they are, called silent supporters. It's the Rabbit Hole Heralds where we post our stuff. That's our drudge or our zero hedge, so to speak. But we're the silent supporters. We do it from the shadows, from the goodness of our heart. But anyway, they could all be silent supporters up there at that church where Joel's got going on. A missionary could come through, moves everybody by the Spirit, whatever it is, and they just pull out their little phone and hit him with a penny, nickel, dime, quarter. They might hit that quarter button a couple times. And he's funded. And they're just like grandmother. You with me? Anybody tying that together? Okay. It doesn't make any difference if they got a meal. It all come from grandmama, a bunch of grandmamas. It's not a taxable event. Okay. All right. That puts crosshairs on my forehead. I'm willing to wear them. Be glad to. Let me see what else. Any questions, anybody?
If no one else has a question, I do. Does anyone else?
Go right ahead.
Okay. The video that I posted earlier about the 10 Days of Darkness.
Yeah.
Let's see. Today's the 21st. We got 10 days now before it starts.
Yeah.
I think we ought to do a little brainstorming at one of these next sessions.
Yeah.
Figure out what we're going to do to meet the demand, because people are going to be freaking out, Randy.
Here's what I would suggest that we do. I would suggest that we get as many people as we possibly can to attend one of these meetings right here. We have a few more folks, Laurie, that have popped in. We've got looks like a San Antonio. Okay, I know that. And we've got need to change that area code. And we've got a few others. That's great. That's going to go into the flow. The way that I see this is that we'll follow the shows that Rex does. It's got great topics, as we've been talking about. And then I follow Jimmy, and I follow Clyde, and I follow, I like Tori. I got my personals. And then the beauty of this is by having one spearhead, of the influencers, we'll call it, and we know, that's Rex, and I can't do that. I don't have enough time. And plus, they speak another language, and their personalities are terribly poor, most of them. And that's why that I gravitate toward Rex, because most of these guys' egos are about as big as New York City. And so, but they speak their own language and they can get a hold of each other real quick too. So that's extreme value to us because I'm not interested in the money. I'm on to minds. If we can get to 1 million minds, I'll show you what the money will be a joke, an absolute joke. It's been somewhat of a joke in my life because of this. I didn't know this about thinking, but I've been doing it all my life. I've never really had a job, and so I want to pass that on. But here's another thing, is that's a byproduct. Everyone's got to understand, is that the cheese, the show me the money, the Eddie McGuire, whatever, that's a byproduct. Once you get to realize you're creating this and you realize the power of what you can do, that becomes secondary. I never really ever knew how much that oil company made or how much the MLM deal made. I know that what was right in front of me was fun. I was thinking about stuff and it was happening. And as soon as I quit thinking about it, it went away. So my objective right now is to teach as many people as I can about these basics. This thing that we're doing here, I can explain it in 3 seconds. Go over to the corner, drop money in a bucket, and go tell everybody else to do the same thing. That's all that there is to it. It's an accounts payable system. It is QuickBooks on steroids. But you got to put a lot of lipstick on that pig to make people believe. Now, up until this point, exponential growth business models have been evil. Because that last person, he ain't got very happy. But in this case, that could be the anointed one. I'm not kidding you. I'm looking for those people. I look in the chat rooms. I've been watching those chat rooms and those boxes for smart people, and I get a hold of them the best I can, but can't get a hold of them. But see, when we get a forum, when we have a topic from Rex, people bring over Rex's topic and we discuss it. Our attention span, our history, our memories are getting about as long as our attention span. It's the end of the day, and that's long term. I'm not kidding there, and that's by design. I want to know from Dan Whittington. I want him to be on one of these shows like this. I listen to him on Rex's show and all the other chemtrail people. I want to know some answers. And we can get them, we can have them. Rex can get them to come over to our show, and we'll have them for a couple of hours, and they'll do it. Because when we say that's great value, and you've got 1 million plus people, if they just hit them with a penny, 1 million's 10 G's. One of my accountants said, Randy, do you realize what you got here? I said, well, yeah, I got a pretty good idea. He said, you got the very first that I've ever seen wealth redistribution system based on a fair exchange of value work. Mm-hmm. And so I sit here, in Kilgore again. I came back here because I started my whole journey out here. This is an ugly place, but it's magical. It is really magical. There's nothing really real here in Kilgore. Everybody's out there. But that's where I'm from, so I have that archetypical or burnt-in mindset that this money thing everybody worries about is a state of mind, and it is. But everybody needs it. Now, here's another thing that frustrates me, and is that when I go to shows, I feel people. When I listen to shows, I feel people. I can feel that audience, and that's not a joke. And I can empathy on galactic steroids, and so I feel the people going, I need those provisions, those dehydrated stuff, that long-term stuff. I need those goggles. I need this, that, and the other. I'd love to have a hat. I'd love to support, and they can't. They're broke. Or they're living paycheck to paycheck and going down, and it is going down. Mm-hmm. Fixed to lose their jobs. It's going to be automated out. Not so much AI, but automated. My sister's going to lose a job of 12 years at Holiday Inn. She's big, the front desk deal. It's going to be a robot. It's going to be a kiosk in there. We don't see it coming, people. Rex tells us, Jimmy tells us, Clyde tells us, no one listens. And some can't do anything about it. This is for those that can't do anything about it. Now, there's going to be these horses that come in here, and they're going to, big players, and they got all this advertising. Good on you. It gets me more minds. You'll be down the road, most likely, doing something else. But we'll be here working, because I love this country, and I love the way of life that it affords us. I like to sit and do anything that I want to do, stay extremely relaxed. I've been instructed not to say anything about cannabis, but this is my show. And I relaxed a lot. And so we have to be transparent with each other. If I'm not transparent with you and tell you everything that I'm doing, I'm showing you every single penny that's coming into this, what's going out, and that I'm not involved anywhere unless it's a love offering, they're going to flip out. And when they get this new caveat that last person, see, they'll look at that. They will not look at the value of this or nothing. They're going to look on how they can shut Randy down again. What they don't realize is I got the river on my side this time because I followed the law. I'm even beyond the law. I'm not taking anything out of it. I think if y'all see me on the side of the road, at least throw me a virtual penny. I mean, hell, I built this thing.
Is that where the document comes in for the donation of just even a single penny?
Yes, it is. But Ryan got a little carried away. I read it. That's a little heavy. We'll probably come down to a 3-line deal. I give this from the goodness of my heart. I expect nothing in return, monetary or otherwise, and that's good enough. It goes out with a penny. Now that penny is overkill. It's overkill, but you don't have to collect it in paper. It's going to be in your back office. But you might have 14 million pennies. But if they want to audit you, say that was a gift. And it wasn't no gift. Yes, it was. Here's my paperwork. And you hand them a truckload full of those papers. Oh, goodness gracious. But I sit here in amazement. This is really the first time I've got to do it that's recorded. It's going to go somewhere for other people to listen to. And I'm going to say this. I didn't think I'd get here. Y'all have no earthly idea, and it's not pat myself on the back, it's just that I didn't think I was going to make it here, because there is spirit, and it's inside of all of us, and it's the dark side. It's the same one that theirs has gone on steroids. They're riding a big horse, but mixed with programming, we'll call it magic. So I'll talk about some of those things when we get into other areas. But right now what I need for you to do is talk to as many people as you can, have them just come and listen to this show. And if you'll do that, we'll be able to implement things like what you just talked about. Their shows, I want to talk about Lee. Lee has got me. I'm on Lee. He's got me. I want to know about this 5G deal, and I'm sure Rex is on top of it too. Look at it. He's got them hats and everything, and he knows other people that are on it too. And he gets those people, and they might need to go somewhere, and they're broke. He can get them on the show or have them. I'll help them, do the same thing. I'll do this kind of stuff. This is what I do. I set people up. I set up the foundation of things. I'm a creator. They even have a classification for it now in college. I believe it's called a concept engineer. Dreamer. Damn dreamer. That's all it is. A dreamer with commitment and faith. Oh, I was going to ask y'all that question, and I'll tell you what I'll do. It'll be worth 50 pennies if you can answer it. Anybody. And here's the question. If you focus your intent and you make a commitment in your mind that you are going to do that thing that's in your mind, no matter how grandiose it may be, it will, in fact, happen. I can guarantee that. But there's only one. If you feed it attention and keep moving in that direction, there's going to be a lot of work involved, physical, otherwise, but keep your mind focused on that. And things that you need to do will pop into your course. That's how we manifest from thought. But there's one word to kill it. Y'all know what it is? 50 pennies.
Fear.
Dead air. Okay, here's what it is. Doubt. If the universe, it will respond to anything that you send it. That's why it's taken 7 years. I'll sit here sometimes. I had some guys that was going to ride with me that was going to lobby in about 100 G's. They backed out. And I thought, man, am I crazy? That's the dark side. I sat there and I said, no, I'm going to keep on going, man. Just about 30 more feet, we're going to hit pay dirt. That's oil field top. And I kept drilling. Nothing. put everything into it. Finally, and it had that program deal, and finally I told Rex, I said, let's go. I got a landing page, and I can sign these people up. Let's just see what we got. And we went for it. And I went in the river, and I noticed it's got a couple hits on there, and here y'all are. And I will say this, again, the first 100, if I can 1,000, I'll personally train you. There's nothing more in this world that I'd like to do to know that even just 100 people that understand the concept of being a manifestic, the Knights Templars would be a kindergarten game. You know, the movies that you see, and you know, there's a lot of people, they speak of things that are real, esoteric and do this, do that. I live that stuff daily. Daily. And it's so common that it's been that way for years. But you can do this. I'm doing it. I'm creating something that could help save this country, and I did it from one single exciter thought and making a commitment to do it. If you listen to me and tell other people to do the same thing, after listening a while, I know what I'm doing. We will have another mind with us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Listen, this has been so fun. We have recorded. Oh, there's a little chat thing going on down there. What is that? Oh, that's Lori. And by the way, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Lori is she is very proficient at she's been heading up our first little batch of folks on the rabbit hole. And thank you so much, Lori, and you too, Andy and Mark, for being in there. We're slinging pennies around. And I'm going to get with the programmer, and I'm going to give the first 50. Y'all go out, first 100, I'll do it. Go out and get it up to 100. You know, y'all, there's 55 of you now. Go ahead and get 100, and I'll give everybody 5 pen, which is 500 pennies. Y'all with me?
Woo.
And then even though there are some committed supporters in there that have already come in at, the 30 commitment level, I'm going to do that as well. And that way y'all can get activity, and I will get Obi-Wan Kenobi and other people that will come in, and we can start donating to and showing appreciation for some of the topics that on their shows, and we'll talk about it. Laurie, we'll find a way that we can get on the new website, Laurie. That's what we'll do. On the new website, I'll post the topics that we may be discussing. But when I get to where this chat room deal of this thing right here that we're doing, I can have a 4-hour period during the day. I'm conflicted. I don't want this thing to stop what I'm doing. Okay, that's a deal I made with the river.
Right.
Somehow I've got to mold it to where it's taking my time. I'm sitting right here, while we're sitting here talking, and Rex has got a show. And that disrupts my flow. And so I'm going to do this, and they're talking about ancient humans, non-humans, it says here. But so we will do these in prime time sometimes, or we will, but there will come a time, and what I'm doing right here, when y'all get up to speed, you understand it's very easy to come from the heart, talk about anything, knit one, purl two, save the whales, doesn't matter. As long as they're here, they're committed, and then you're supporting those influencers out there that are getting the word out. Because phase 2 is going to blow you away. It's going to blow you away. At the end of the day, we're going to have a full, enclosed, yet permeable, closed-loop ecosystem. That's the vision. That's the vision. And then we probably, I don't want to spook anybody, but just for security reasons, we'll have our own liquidity because we'll be making these committed deals, retiring fiat into pens. And so in a system that is on, like has little blocks and they're hooked into a link and they call it a chain, a blockchain type technology, we could move everything into a blockchain technology, and we have a self-growing, self-liquidating, continuously infused with liquidity system day one. At that point, that's phase 3, these little pins you're playing with right now could have a tremendous value because it will be stable. Stable. And it won't even be necessarily used to gain value on the outside to redeem its value. It will still stay internal just for our functionality. We would use it just like we use it now, except it would be in a blockchain type environment, which would make it much more secure. And we will have the best security that we can get. The programmer is a high-end security programmer, and he works for one of the large Indian nation casinos for their security, so he will help. But anyone that has technical skills, if anyone, I've asked Rex to try to get a hold of this couple. They're called, this is True Stream Media. True Stream Media. You can go to their little YouTube and carry a sack lunch and something to drink. You'll be mesmerized. You'll be mesmerized. Great talent they are, and there's a lot of talent out there. And if we do this right, we can help this country and we can keep the way of life we got. And I'm going long, I'm starting to ramble, but I thank y'all for being here. And anybody have anything they'd like to add, and then we'll wrap this up.
Nothing here, Randy.
Okay. Well, if you would, let's meet back at the same time, same place tomorrow. Okay.
Tell me the time. Tell me the time so I can get here at the right time next time.
Okay. You can go at 9 p.m. Dallas, Texas time, which is Central Standard Time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And invite a friend, and I'll start slinging out some appreciation. First thing I got to do is I got to get y'all up to a level where you can exchange gifts. And so I'll get all that done with the programmer. And so we'll go from there. If there's anything that I do is I give away more than I probably, it's detrimental sometimes, but there's nothing else to give away. I'm in good shape. So I'll do that, and let's meet back here. And again, thank you so much. Y'all never know the gift y'all are giving me of my kids. I was telling somebody the other day, I said my kids are so excited. They can see jet boats and everything else now in their mind's eye, probably. But Daddy's doing something. He's over there doing something. I've got a green screen behind me, everything. I'm ready to rock and roll. But as I stopped, that's egotistical, that's self-centered, that's hedonistic, in that I like to talk. Y'all know that. But the beauty of this is they're going to do all the talking, Rex and all those people. We're just going to talk about it. And that's going to be so valuable because the stuff that they're sharing with us, we need to talk about it more than just listen. We've got to internalize some of that stuff. You got to get to where you can see a commercial in 3 seconds. You know where it's coming from and why. You know where it's coming from and why. That's fun. I'll go on all night, and there will come a time in the near future that this line will be open for any time someone wants to come and go. Just pop in, and they can share what they've got. We'll go in lecture mode sometimes. We'll also use this to have those people, maybe Rex will pop in and say, just because, see, these guys like that, they're exposed to a bunch of stuff, man. What's the last thing that just blew your dress up? I mean, what was it that just shocked you? Share it with us. And we'd have them one-on-one. And we could, it would be a fair exchange of value because their time is, they really work hard on this stuff. And we could show our appreciation. It would really help them real quickly. And we can have Rex in Peru. It's in temples over there somewhere with that drone. Can you believe he can fly that drone so well? That's amazing. Unbelievable. All right. God bless each and every one of y'all. And the horse you rode in on, go out and create a wonder-filled day. It is by choice. And remember, once a person who has been honestly mistaken all of their life learns the truth, they either cease to be mistaken or they cease to be honest. What say you? Bring friends tomorrow. Ramblin' Randy, we down.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Thanks, Randy.
All right, thank you. Bye.
God bless you.